Hello students, how are you? I want to believe you are fine. I'm also fine, by the way. Now, I want to first ask, are you guys still respecting your parents or no? But I want to believe that you are respecting your parents, which is really an important thing because they are taking care of you at home. So, this is Teacher Hilda, your teacher for English. That is Senior 3. And I want you to get ready with your notebooks and pens because today we are going to tackle a really important topic, which is so important that is going to equip you with skills of budgeting. Okay? Now, I want you to get ready so that we can study. But before we start, I want to remind you that this program is brought to you by the Rwanda Education Board in partnership with MASTERCARD Foundation and Inspire, Educate, and Empower Rwanda. Okay, the program is brought to you by the Rwanda Education Board in partnership with MasterCard Foundation and IEE, that is Inspire, Educate, and Empower Rwanda. So our topic today, we are going to talk about budgets. We are going to talk about budgets or talking about budgets, okay? Do you know what a budget is? Have you ever made a budget? Does someone have any idea what a budget is? Can someone tell me? Okay, if you have ever made a budget or you have seen a budget, maybe now you know what I'm trying to talk about, okay? So in this lesson, I want to equip you with the skills of budgeting for whatever you hope to buy. We have all bought things, okay? At a certain point, to go to the school canteen, to let's say buy Fanta, let's say you go and buy a cake, depending on what you want to buy. Sometimes you have a budget and you say, I'm going to use 500 to buy Fanta, and then the remaining amount of money, I'll save it for tomorrow. So that is what we call budgeting. So you will also learn to save and invest as a result of budgeting. So in this lesson, you are going to learn how to save and invest. Why? Because the more you save, when you're saving, you're really budgeting for your money, okay? Our topic today is talking about budgets. Talking about budgets. Do you know what a budget is? Can someone define for us what a budget is, or what is a budget? Does someone know? Or do you have any idea what a budget is? Now, a budget is a plan of how one will spend his or her money. A budget is a plan of how one will spend his or her money. Now, you have many ways in which you spend your money. I also have different ways in which I spend my money. You might spend your money on buying clothes, spend your money on buying books. I spend most of my money, okay, buying books, novels to read. I don't know what to use your money for. But then when you make a budget is a plan of how you are going to spend your money, or how one is going to spend his or her money. At a certain point, some people don't have money, but at a certain point you have money and you really have things you are going to buy. So you're going to make a budget, starting with the most important things you need to buy. Now that is how you're going to be able, okay, to have the skills of budgeting. Now, the other definition of a budget is the sum of money allocated for a particular purpose and the summary of intended expenditure along with the proposals for how long to meet them. It may include a budget surplus, providing money for use at future time, or deficit in which expenses exceed income. So a budget could also be a financial plan, okay? A plan for a defined period, often 1 year. Yeah, sometimes 1 year. Some people can plan for more than 1 year. Sometimes it could be a month. Sometimes a day. You have a budget for a day. You're going to step out of the house and you have to budget. I'm going to use this amount for transport. When I reach, let's say, town, I'm going to buy Fanta. I'm going to buy a cake. I'm going to buy a sweet for my friend. So you see, you have a budget on how you're going to spend your money in a day. So it may also include planned sales volumes and revenues, resource quantities, costs and expenses, assets, liability, and cash flows. So the most important thing here to note is that a budget is an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. For a set period of time, a budget is an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time.
Come along and play with us.
So we have defined a budget, okay? But we have said that a budget is a plan of how one will spend his or her money. I don't know how you spend your money, but I would really love to hear how you spend your money. I know it is good to listen to how you spend your money. But then I want to ask, what do you think is the importance of a budget? Why is it important to make a budget? What do you think? Can someone tell me? Is a budget important or it is not important? But we can agree that a budget is important, right? So can someone tell me what is the importance of making a budget? At least one importance like this, one. It is important to make a budget in order to save, that is one, to be organized, that is two, and to predict if money is enough to buy only essentials first. Okay, I've said that it is important to make a budget in order to save, that is the first one, to be organized, that is the second one, and the third one, to predict if money is enough. Sometimes you don't have enough money, okay, to buy the essentials. Let's say you have money. You have been given money. Let's say you have been given 1,000. So you want to make a budget on how you're going to spend the money. You might decide to save the money because you don't have an important thing to buy. Or you are saving your money for something important. Let's say in this period, if someone gave you money, you'd save it until you go to school so that you can spend it from school. And the other thing why it is important to make a budget is to be organized. When you have a budget, let me tell you, you are so organized. Why? Because you know how you are going to spend your money, you know how much you are going to spend, and you know how much you are going to remain with. So you're not going to go into debts whereby you first bought the non-essential things, the things that you don't really need the most. And then you then later go and ask for debts for the most essential things, the things you would have bought at first, okay? So you become organized, and then the other reason is that you predict if money is enough, okay? So sometimes when you have money, you have to budget and see, is this money I'm having going to be enough for me, or it is not going to be enough for me? All right, so you have to make a budget so that you know if the money is enough. If the money is not enough, then you're just going to figure out the most essential, the most important things to buy, okay? So since budgeting allows you to create a spending plan for your money, you know, a spending plan, how you spend your money, that is what we call a spending plan. Since budgeting allows you to create a spending plan for your money, it ensures that you will always have enough money for the things you need, okay? And the things that are important to you. So following a budget or spending plan will also keep you out of debts or help you work your way out of debt if you are currently in a debt. You have gone to the market to buy food, but you don't have enough money. So you end up in a debt. But if you had a budget before you went to the market, you wouldn't have gone into the debt. And let's say sometimes you have seen something you like and you're already in a debt. Budgeting is going to help you very much to know how to pay that debt, because you receive money, but the money is allocated to something. So if you have a budget, okay, yeah, it is going to be easier for you. You're going to ensure that you buy the most essential things. You're going to make sure that you have enough money to buy certain things. And then budgeting is going to help you not to fall into debts. And let's say if you're in debts, budgeting is going to help you how to overcome those debts. Have you ever had a debt? Is there someone there who borrowed you money and you did not pay back? So if you have a budget, you already have a budget, you already have a plan on how you are going to pay that, person. So I also want to ask another question. What would happen if someone started a business without a budget? What would happen if someone started a business without a budget? What do you think would happen? To me, I think a lot of things would happen. One, that person won't be organized. Yeah, they won't be organized now, because if you are going to start a business, there are certain items you have to buy. Okay, if you don't have a budget, then how are you going to be organized? How are you going to know that this folds here and this folds here? And then the other thing, you want to know if the money is enough. Now, how can you start a business? How can you start a business without enough money? So if you start a business without a budget, you want to know if the money is enough. Have you ever gone to buy something without a budget and you've reached there and you find that you don't have enough money? For example, you went to buy a pen from the canteen and the pen is 100 but you have 50 francs. Now, what is going to happen? It means that you did not have a budget, okay? You already know that the pen is 100, but then you have a what? A 50, meaning that you must have a budget on the things you are going to start doing. The other reason is you want to know what important things to buy. Why? Because he or she does not have a budget. So if someone started a business without a budget, I would say, one, they won't be organized. Two, they won't know if the money is enough. And then the other reason is they won't know what essential things to buy first, what important things to buy first. Okay, so that was it all about a budget. We have defined a budget and we have said that a budget is a plan of how you will spend your money, or a budget is a plan of how one will spend his or her money. And then we have looked at why it is important to have a budget, because it helps you to save, to be organized, to predict if the money is enough, among others. And then the other question was, what would happen if someone started a business without a budget? What would happen if someone started a business without a budget? And we said that he or she won't be organized, then won't have enough money, and won't know what essential things to buy first. So meaning it will be kind of hard for him or her.
Come along and play with us.
So now we are going to do a simple exercise, a really simple exercise. We are going to read a passage and then answer questions. But I want you to pay attention. Please pay attention so that you can hear what I'm going to read. Because at the end of it all, you have to answer these questions. And I believe that you are going to pay attention and answer the questions very, very well. So the passage is about Mugabo and Murenzi. Okay? The passage is about Mugabo and Murenzi. So it reads, Mugabo and Murenzi are 18-year-old twins. They got excited when their parents agreed to let them choose suits that they could buy at the end of the year to celebrate the completion of their secondary education. The only problem was that they had to save enough money in 7 months to buy the suits and pay the tailor. Mugabo and Murenzi decided to go window shopping for suits at Kabatesi's tailoring shop. Kabatesi herself helped them find reasonable priced suits for 30,000 francs each, an amount that they thought they could afford. Remember, said Kabatesi, you don't have to buy the suits for another 7 months. With inflation, similar suits will probably cost about 5% more, which means 31,500 francs. When you are ready, I'll be here to help you. Now that we know what we want, how can we possibly come up with 31,500 francs? Wondered Mugabo. Murenzi had an idea. Let's see where we stand and make a budget. Then we can make savings and make sure we have 31,500 francs after 7 months. Mugabo and Murenzi got down to work and made a list of the money they expected to receive and spend each month. After realizing that they had a lot of expenses and their income was very little, they decided to ask for a loan from their parents. they thought they would get the loan interest free, but their parents said they were willing to lend them at an interest rate 5% per month. Mugabo and Murenzi decided to save by avoiding luxurious and buying only necessities. In the end, they bought the suits without taking out any loans. I'm going to read the passage again for one more time, and then we look at the questions. So like I said, the passage is about Mugabo and Murenzi. It reads, Mugabo and Murenzi are 18-year-old twins. They got excited when their parents agreed to let them choose suits that they could buy at the end of the year to celebrate the completion of their secondary education. The only problem was that they had to save enough money in 7 months to buy the suits and pay the tailor. Mugabo and Murenzi decided to go window shopping for suits at Kabatesi's tailoring shop. Kabatesi herself helped them find reasonably priced suits for 30,000 francs each, an amount they thought they could afford. Remember, said Kabatesi, you don't have to buy the suits for another 7 months. With inflation, similar suits will probably cost about 5% more, which means 31,500 francs. When you are ready, I'll be here to help you. Now that we know what we want, how can we possibly come up with 31,500 francs? Wondered Mugabo. Murenzi had an idea. Let's see where we stand and make a budget. Then we can make savings to make sure we have 31,500 francs after 7 months. Mugabo and Murenzi got down to work and made a list of the money they expected to receive and spend each month. After realizing that they had a lot of expenses and their income was very little, they decided to ask for a loan from their parents. They thought they could get the loan interest free, but their parents said they were willing to lend them at an interest rate of 5% per month. Mugabo and Murenzi decided to save by avoiding luxurious and buying only necessities. In the end, they bought the suits without taking out any loans.
Come along and play with us.
So here are the questions. Our first question is, why do you think Mugabo and Murenzi got excited at first when their parents told them they would buy suits? Why do you think Mugabo and Murenzi got excited at first when their parents told them they would buy suits? Why do you think they got excited? Okay, let us look at the answer to question 1. Why do you think they were so excited at first when their parents told them they would buy suits? Now, they got excited because they thought their parents were going to buy the suits for them. They got excited because they thought their parents were going to buy the suits for them. Then let us look at question 2. Was it a good idea for their parents to ask them to buy the suits using their own money? Explain. Was it a good idea for their parents to ask them to buy the suits using their own money? Explain. Was it a good idea? Can someone tell me the answer? Someone, please. You can write down the answer, then I'll check if you have the right answer. So the answer could have been, or the answer is, it is a good idea. Why? This could teach them how to save and become responsible. It could also teach them financial literacy in general. Okay? So I think it is a good idea. Why? Because it will teach them how to save and to become responsible. It will also teach them financial literacy, things about money. Number 3. What lessons did they learn from their experience? What lessons did they learn from their experience? What lessons? Any lessons? What do you think they learned according to the passage? Remember, in the last paragraph, it reads, Murenzi had an idea. Let's see where we stand and make a budget. then we can make savings to make sure we have 31,500 francs after 7 months. Mugabo and Murenzi got down to work and made a list of the money they expected to receive and spend each month. After realizing that they had a lot of expenses and their income was very little, they decided to ask for a loan from their parents. They thought they would get the loan interest-free, but their parents said they were willing to lend them at an interest rate of 5% per month. Mugabo and Murenzi decided to save by avoiding luxurious and buying only necessities. In the end, they bought the suits without taking out any loans. So what lessons did they learn from their experiences? What lessons? The first one is to negotiate, then to save, and then to avoid loans. Okay? To avoid loans. Remember, they wanted to take a loan from their parents, and then their parents were not willing to give them the loan tax-free. Okay? The parents wanted an interest rate of 5%. But then what did they do? They decided to save. How did they save? One, they avoided luxuries, things that were not really important to them. And then they only bought necessities. They only bought the most important things. So the lessons that we could learn from this is one, to save, to negotiate, and to avoid loans. Okay? So number 4, if you were either Mugabo or Murenzi, which expenses would you remove from your daily life and why? If you were either Mugabo or Murenzi, which expenses would you remove from your daily life and why? Now you have different things you buy daily. Let's say you buy bread for breakfast, but then there's something that has come up. You want to buy a watch, but then you decide that instead of eating bread every morning and evening, I'm going to eat bread once a day. Okay, so that you can save the money you would have used to buy bread in the evening to buy a watch. Okay, now I want you to think about the things you do on a daily basis. What things do you do? Are there things you buy on a daily basis? Now, are they so important or they are not? Are they necessities or they are not? And if they are not, can you save that money to buy something better? So you have what you buy on a daily basis. That is, if you receive money on a daily basis. Some people don't receive money on a daily basis. Okay, but then when you receive money, what do you use the money for? Do you buy the most important things? Now, let's say if something important came up and you already have a budget, would you be able to remove some of the things from the budget or you wouldn't? Okay, so I think if you were Mugabo or Murenzi, you'd remove different things. For example, the luxuries. Why would you need the luxuries yet you are looking forward to buying a suit? Now, I want to leave you with some homework. It is 1 number homework. The question is, what is the importance of budgeting? What is the importance of budgeting according to the story? What is the importance of budgeting according to the story? So when we come back in our next lesson, we shall look at that question, the importance of budgeting.
Come along and play with us.
So before we end the lesson, I want us to remind ourselves on what we have studied today. Can someone tell me what we have studied today? Is there anyone who still remembers our topic? Okay, so our topic today was about budgets, okay? Talking about budgets. And we said that a budget is a plan of how one will spend his or her money. A plan of how one will spend his or her money. We also looked at the importance of making a budget, why it is important to make a budget. So does someone remember and they tell us? So the importance of making a budget. 1, it helps you to save, to be organized, and to predict if the money the money is enough. Then we also looked at what would happen if someone started a business without a budget. All right, so that was it about budgets. I hope in your next let's say starting tomorrow, you're going to start making budgets, okay, on how you are going to spend your money. All right, so it was nice teaching you. It was really a good experience. Thanks for paying attention. I like that. Thanks for paying attention and always doing the work. Now I want you to stay safe at home. All right, stay safe at home so that we can meet when schools open. I want you to keep respecting your parents, and then until we meet in our next lesson. Bye bye.
Goodbye, 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 teacher. Goodbye, children. See you next time. Goodbye, 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 teacher. Goodbye, children. See you next time.